Enjoying all that Toxic Radio has to offer? Well, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be the first to find out about ticket giveaways, amazing guests, awesome contests, and Toxic Radio events. Just search Toxic Radio Live, all one word, and press that little button. Every time you do, someone here at Toxic Radio will get their wings.
Yay!
Well, not really.
Aww.
But we will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummies. But then again, that just might be the beer. Anyway, like and follow us, and we will see you out there on the interwebs.
Master, dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
Hey guys, dating life going pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy, I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies.
Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic.
What's up, everyone? It's that time of the week to take it deep with your man, the Godfrey, the THEEGODFREY. We have lots of things to take Deep Space Nine this week. Mike is going to have to eat something really horrible. It's called the Tube of Terror. That will be coming in the next couple weeks as soon as we get it in. He will put anything in his mouth, ladies and gentlemen, so therefore, it's great. It's great to have Mike as producer. He'll put anything in his mouth. There's nobody he won't fluff. Just kidding. Oh, wow. So, if you saw the headline, wanted to ask what a life coach is, we're going to talk about some important things, but we'll first open it up with a really pressing topic of, what do you do when you poo at work? That's right. If you're in the bathroom, you're in the stall, and you know you're about to take a big stinky dump, you hear someone walk in, what do you do? Do you release? Do you hold? Do you pull your feet up above the stall so they can't recognize your shoes when you come out behind that giant stink cloud? Do you disguise yourself, or do you let rip and make it sound like you're squeezing and choking an empty mustard bottle? Mike, the option's yours. What would you do?
Try and keep it quiet and watch TikTok.
So wait. You're going to try to muzzle the sound of your poop.
Yeah.
So you're still going to do it. Or you're going to try
What was the I'm actually getting your show all set up. What did you say?
We'll defer to Jamie.
What did you say?
Jamie, what would you do?
Let it flow.
You would just let it flow?
Let it flow.
Doesn't matter how loud?
Nope.
Okay. And I don't know if I would let it flow. Wire to wire.
Why not?
Every Wednesday night, 8:30 to 10 o'clock. That was the right time, right, Mike?
Yeah, you got it correct.
Thought so. I always get confused at extra half an hour. For all your sports needs. And also, I disagree with NBA Jam not making it forward in the bracket, as I saw last
I
week,
was rooting for NBA Jam as well. I told Gene before the show.
Even a non-sports fan like Mike was like, NBA Jam's great. Mike doesn't even know how to spell sports.
That was SPURTS.
Wow.
The fact that it's a game is what gets Mike.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't care about sports. It's just that it's a game.
Yeah, put a controller in my joystick in my hand, and I'll be happy for hours.
I heard Mike is the world champion of pocket pool as well.
I mean, I've I mean, I've had 41 years of experience.
You were doing it from birth. You're a sick bastard.
Absolutely. It came out shooting for the three-pointer.
Sick bastard. So, I mean, so then we'll defer the question to you, Mike, because to me, if it was me, I would probably try to muffle the sound and wait until they exit the bathroom. But
you're saying if somebody comes in and you know it's going to be murder?
Yes.
Oh, no, you laugh your ass off, especially if the other person, in any way, shape, or form, gives out a ugh.
So you're squeezing a mustard. You're squeezing a mustard bottle.
Yes, absolutely. That's
an empty mustard bottle.
That's the one place in any business, company, household, if you've got a walk-in urinal and a toilet in there.
But you have to work with these people. They're going to see you.
So
what if it's a bathroom set up at your work where they're like, yeah, we know you're coming out because you have to you're like funneled out into the main room.
I'm more grossed out not by that. That's funny. That's hilarious. You walk out, go, whoa, that guy just dropped a bomb. That's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
The disturbing thing for me is the individuals that, while they're on the John, will actually either make or take phone calls in a public setting like work and be on the phone.
How's that any different from you watching TikTok?
Right next to them. Because you're on the I don't have to sit
You're touching the phone while you're...
No. I'm not talking about touching the phone. I'm not talking about touching the phone. You're going right. I'm swerving to the left.
So you... Okay.
All right? Stop trying to,
So
go
you
different
could touch
directions.
it. You just can't have a business call.
You can't have a business call. That is the one place where, you know what? Your phone can take a little bit of time off in terms of using it for any kind of phone call. I mean, why don't you just FaceTime somebody while you're in there?
So you draw the line at using the phone for communication.
For communication, you can text. You can text all you want.
Can you game? Can you play games?
You
while
can
you're
play
on?
games.
Oh, I knew
you
would
can
say
watch
yeah to that, of
TikTok.
course.
You can watch YouTube. Be careful though; it's a slippery slope where you're going to be standing up like a baby fawn in about 15 minutes because you got into something really cool on your phone. But the one thing
you
that
shouldn't be sitting on a toilet long enough where your leg falls asleep and your ass cheek falls asleep.
You should not do is get on a phone call with anybody while you're in there. That's your alone time. Enjoy it.
So you've gotten out of the bathroom before and fall over because your leg was there?
Oh yeah, I've gotten up and been like, oh boy, I hope nobody thinks I fell asleep in here.
I mean, yeah, they probably did. I mean, you look like a bathroom sleeper.
Well, I actually worked at a place where it was mandatory that you worked 50 to 60 hours a week. Mandatory. Like, that was it. You had to work overtime. You got paid for the overtime, but you had to work it. So you had to work 6 to 7 days a week. And you'd walk into the bathroom stall and you see multiple rolls of toilet paper, but they were squished. They were squished, and nobody understood why. And I looked at one of the guys and said, you don't know why?
They used them for pillows.
They used them for pillows to prop their head up against the bathroom stall to take a little nappy nap. In the same place, the same establishment. I'm not going to say what workplace this was. In the bathroom. In the stall. I go in there. I look on the floor, and there's peanut shells. There's peanut shells. So they're sleeping.
You never had a little pistachio poop?
They're sleeping.
Pistachio poop break?
They're eating while they're in the bathroom.
So you're saying you shouldn't be... Now, if you eat the shells before you wipe, that's okay. But if you eat the pistachios after you wipe, that could be bad.
Again, all things way more disgusting than letting it rip.
Well... I still might do that. You got to... And the thing is I know you're a savage because you didn't put in your plan, which is called a courtesy flush.
No! Why are you going to... Who's giving courtesy flushes to other dudes in the toilet? Why?
You don't want to... You don't do a courtesy flush?
Who's doing that? If you're in the car with a buddy and you rip one, do you do a courtesy roll down the window?
Brad says
I did the old school.
He said he used to work at a restaurant before we opened, and we used the woman's room because it was cleaner and smelled better.
Yeah, they usually have a couch.
I say he just wanted to use the woman's room. We know, Brad. No, I'm just joking. No, listen, I have to.
The people that you work with, you're gonna give a courtesy flush. A courtesy flush.
No.
Get out of here.
I have actual I have actual sound of Mike on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to breathe heavy. It's a lot. I'm a big guy. That happens at the end.
Yeah.
At the very end.
Here's the thing. The thing about the girls' bathroom, that's a myth. All right, maybe after
No,
it's
that's not a
freshly
myth. There are girls' bathrooms.
No, it's a myth that they're cleaner than guys' bathrooms. All right, because I used to think that. Then I used to bounce at a bar, and they would make us take out the trash. I walk in a guy's bathroom, like, all right, it's a pigsty. I walk in a girl's bathroom, like, what the fuck just happened in here? Like, it is the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. And in fact, I remember when I would go to girls' houses and they had roommates, all of them had the fucking cat litter box in the damn shitter. Okay, every single time. And it was a goddamn disaster. There were curling irons hanging from the ceiling. There was unnamed hairs from whoever it was from. And, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, courtesy flushes, Mike probably
If you're a courtesy flusher, I don't want to be friends with you. You obviously don't share my humor. You don't share my appreciation for a good sniff. You don't appreciate it.
Wow, you are a sick bastard. A good sniff. So, girls' bathrooms, that is a myth. It is bad, and it's been explained to me that, especially in a club when they're drinking, they don't like to raw cheek it because they have to sit down, and they'll hover and then miss. I'm like, how do you miss when you're sitting, when you're hovering and you're drunk?
I will never hover. I will never put down a little seat
I am
mat.
a raw cheeker. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm a raw cheeker too.
Yep.
Some people are like, how can you raw cheek? I mean, I'm not going to sit on it if there's like all kinds of junk on the toilet. I'm not going to
no, you got to clean it first.
Yeah.
I'm not cleaning nothing. I'll wipe it down. But if it looks like a confetti party happening on there, there's nothing happening.
I've seen that. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen at work, and quite recently too.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
What
Mike.
can I say?
I had a feeling it was
you're
you.
welcome.
All right.
I had a feeling it was you.
Well, we're going to move on to subjects.
Wait, because I have one more thing. Can I?
He ain't done yet.
I know it's your show. I'm sorry.
We lost half our viewers because they got tired of the poo.
Well, there's one other question I wanted to ask you. If you would ever do this, would you ever masturbate in the bathroom at work?
No,
Why not?
because me and Jamie are normal and you are not. That is why. Moving on from that. So
why do I have this odd feeling that Mike has?
probably.
Yeah.
So speaking of wow, just what a visual. So anyway,
I don't want to visualize that. I'm sorry.
yeah, what a visual. So I'm gonna have Mike bring it up, and I see these things today. I wanted to talk about like life coaches, right? Like everybody's a life coach. Everybody's an influencer now. I'm gonna be an influencer. I'm not gonna get a job. I'm not gonna do something I like. Maybe if that's what you like and you're good at it and you take it all the way, that's fine. But I noticed that influencing or being an influencer is now becoming part of the pyramid scheme type of culture out there. I started a business. You're peddling someone else's product. You're doing sales basically online. To be an influencer, you have to have some influence. So therefore, you must build influence to be an influencer, correct? Now,
Goes with the title.
Now, I know I'm going to hurt some people's dashes and dreams out there, hopes and dreams, or dash their dreams, whatever you want to say. But, I mean, to me, it's the new pyramid scheme. Like, I see all these things. Oh, be an influencer. Do this, do that. And everybody goes to TikTok and they look up the best influencer. But I'm going to be just like that person. And you think you're going to go like this, like right around the hard work they had to do. Like, just go around it. No, that doesn't exist. So, you look at that and then you see, I get these. I don't know can you put that up there? I sent it to you. All right, so I get this request from this girl right here, right? I'm thinking, another one trying to get you to see her webcam. She is a life coach. Good for her. I hope maybe she's the next Tony Robbins. I don't know. And I'm looking at her pictures. There's about 15, 16. The secret is having it all is knowing you already do. Cool. Not good side profile. Nice, very nice. Pretty girl. But I mean, yeah, that's a life coach. What's the advice there for being a life coach? What's that? Is that a life coach move?
Grab a titty when you can.
Grab it. Hey, life's a titty. Don't go broke trying to look rich. Word. Very pretty girl. I have nothing. I wouldn't shame someone for their physical appearance. But what in this person's mind did they say, I'm a life coach? right? I mean, is that inspirational? She's a life coach and mentor. What do you think?
See, the thing is,
look how many followers she has. She has more followers than me, and I'm not bitter about it because my followers are real followers.
But she doesn't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in an online world, in a world where everybody is judged on how many followers, how many likes.
So I just need an
shares,
Instagram account. I'm a life coach.
No, but what I was going to say is she doesn't
coach these nuts.
She has 16 posts and barely any followers.
She has 1,600.
1,600 isn't a lot
for 16 posts. I think it is.
To be
that's a bunch of thirsty guys. I didn't follow her back. That followed her back.
To be a life coach or a mentor or an influencer.
They saw it and they're like, "Oh, she wants the D. I'm going to follow her back." They probably hit her on the DM. Hey, what's up? Yeah.
So it's really this thing where
Brad, you are a toxic influencer. That is true.
Where people see Gary Vee and they see Tony Robbins and they see Pat Flynn, and they see Cliff Ravenscraft, and they see all these influencers who grew a following by literally doing some amazing stuff that people appreciated. And they grew this following, and once they got that following, they became public speakers.
I don't know how
coaches,
I feel about
mentors.
Tony Robbins, but Gary Vee I do like, and we'll take him as an example.
But
Gary Vee worked his ass off at his parents' wine and liquor store, turned it into a viable business, made it very profitable, and built on top of that. Hard work, which people are substituting, right? Hard work. That's a building block. Tony Robbins put in hard work. I don't know what he did financially. I'm not an expert on, but I do know that he's probably done thousands of seminars, written books, hard work. Not, let's take 16 photos, put them on Instagram with 8 inspirational quotes, and I am now a fucking life coach and mentor. Maybe I should do that. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start coaching and life bed touring. You want some? Hit up the Godfrey. We'll take it deep together, okay?
Take it deep together?
That's right. But
is that you're taking it deep together?
Listen, I don't masturbate in bathrooms. That's all I'm going to say.
But you will take it deep together with other people.
No. Well, that's metaphorically speaking. I need you to have an imagination here.
I am, and the imagination's got you looking like a coffee table with 2 people on either side of you.
That's you. Oh, now I want to jerk off.
My imagination has people doing the Eiffel Tower over top of your body.
Wow. We just lost all the rest of our viewers with that visualization. Oh, we're back up to 6. We're going to go back down to 9.
So
or to 3, but whatever.
So with these individuals, if you're a somewhat of a con artist, if you have somewhat of a personality and are able to talk in front of crowds, it is kind of easy to trick people into believing you're a life coach, or because you don't really need any degree or backing to say whether or not you're a life coach. You just have to say, you wake up one morning, I'm a life coach.
Mike is pretty deep. Yeah, he definitely takes it deep in the bathroom. But here's the thing. I feel like people, like, there's nothing wrong with a life coach. The reason why I like Gary Vee is because he has a no bullshit approach, right? And a lot of these life coaches, even the more famous ones, it seems like they're trying to fucking sell you snake oil, right? And, it says, oh, be positive. Well, the thing that people miss from having a positive mindset is putting in positive works behind that mindset. You can't just say, let's be positive, and things automatically fucking explode for you. That's not how life works, okay? There is no substitute for hard work. There just isn't. And if Mike thinks there is, he's always trying to take shortcuts. He's never even at the
substitute
studio.
for hard work is having enough money to pay other people to do the hard work.
That's true. But, most people don't have that position, so you have to build. But there's positive works you have to do with the positive mindset, right? And that keeps you going. You keep going forward. So to me, I like Gary Vee because he has a no bullshit approach. But when people start talking in like generalities, as I like to call it, they start to lose me. And I could sniff that stuff out right away. Some people can't. I think some people are susceptible to it because they don't check their own bullshit. And what I mean is they're like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Can you, though? Can you?
There's a comment that apparently our system has flagged as inappropriate in the chat room.
Really? What comment was that?
Brad Huber says, I'm going to be a life coach. Tip your waiters and wash your ass.
Oh, really? Did we get a notification?
No. It's our system in here won't allow me to put it up on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the Francolino system. Right. That sounds like a self-imposed restriction by Francolino. Yeah. Jamie, check the VMix right now. Let's see if VMix Social. Let's see if he's lying. But yeah, you should tip more and wash your ass. But that's a whole nother show. Who's
not washing their ass?
This is you when we talk about tipping. Lone wolf.
I mean, I go probably 2 digits making sure I wash my ass fully.
Okay, I want to keep the viewers I have. All right. So,
wait a second. You just said never mind.
I mean, that was just a whole nother kit and caboodle. But don't censor me. Blame Facebook. They suck too. But I just feel like if someone's got to be a life coach, they got to walk the walk, and they got to do what they say. And you have to show people that you've learned how to build yourself before you can help build them. And people will buy into these people sometimes, even with these pyramid schemes of, oh, you want residual income. I've seen it. I participated in them. I failed. And I'm telling you that it's a key indicator when these pyramid programs come up that where they say they don't care about what you're selling. They want you to get more people to join. That's the number one indicator. 4X, all that bullshit. And people have this idea in their head that there's certain things they want to get, and this is the shortcut to it. And a lot of times those shortcuts won't work. People will get lucky every now and then. It will work. I know a guy that's real high up in that pyramid world, and he's making buku bucks. But, always we try to get me to do it, but I just couldn't do it. And these life coaches, I think, sometimes like to prey on these people that are vulnerable mentally sometimes in that way. They're looking for some inspiration. They're looking for some help. They're looking, to get something positive to grab onto in an otherwise non-positive life for them at that moment, and whatever it may be. And if it helps them to get out of that mindset, great. But this is the kind of stuff that I think about because, what's going on in our current world. Why do people choose to be influenced by people, whether they like them or hate them, that don't impact their actual real world, and let them make business decisions that will impact their life? And you know where I'm going to go with this? You guessed, the vaccine, right? If you don't want it, I'm cool with that. So what made me think about that is New York is putting up some rules saying you can't go into a restaurant. I'm not going to give you a huge amount of specifics for it. Just you need to have your vaccine card in certain settings to be able to go in indoor facilities or indoor restaurants, things of that nature. While I do understand that they could kind of legally do that, I don't think that is the answer. I do not think making people feel like they have to get it is the way we should be going to get more people on board. I do feel if you want more people on board, you have to go through the means of education, understanding, empathy, and you might have to talk it out with them. And people will eventually come around. I have heard stories about that. You won't hear that from the press. It's always negative. The news channels are just dying pieces of shit that boomers watch, and 45 and over overwhelmingly. Sorry if it's anybody listening that's 45. You might be part of the exception. My bad, Jamie. I didn't know you were I thought you were under 45. Way to age yourself. But not all of them, but a majority, because they get their news from cable news. And outside of that, people that don't get their news from cable news get their news from people that are a jerk off that said I'm a life coach and now has 100,000 followers on YouTube. And you're making decisions based off what these people are telling you. You need to vet these people. And don't let them make you do certain things. For me, it was a business decision. I was on the fence about the vaccine. Then I got it. Then certain people are afraid of it now. And that's fine. You know what I mean? Saying please did not work. You're right, Debbie. I get where you're going with that. However, I do not think that going this way that New York City is, it's going to not help. It's going to deepen the divide. And I do not think that's a good thing. I think there's other ways you could do it. Some people are, last week, as I checked, the vaccination rates were actually up, and even in a lot of those states that weren't participating, because they're seeing it before their eyes. You can gaslight someone, you can bullshit someone, but eventually the rubber is going to hit the road, and you're going to see it before your eyes, and then you're going to have to make a business decision, and that's the truth. And that's where a lot of these people that are sitting on the outside of it, I respect their skepticism. Unless they tell me that a magnet is sticking to their arm, then I'm going to say you're a douchebag and you're stupid. I'm sorry, you are. If you're going to tell me a key sticking to your arm and that's why you're not getting it, you just get on the short bus. That's all. Mike, did you ride the short bus as a kid?
I did get on a few buses that seemed a little shorter than the others.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I'm glad you know what, you are an example to the short bus kids. I am glad you made it this far.
I appreciate you putting me up on that pedestal.
Yeah. It's you're so good.
Thank you. I mean, do I do it? Should I curtsy right now or
no? Don't curtsy me.
Okay.
So I don't even know what that means, but I don't think I want it. But
You don't know what that is.
a curtsy? Yeah, tell me what that is. What is that?
Mike will demonstrate.
Oh, it's where you bend over and you go.
It's like it's the proper way for a woman to bow. That's how usually it started out.
When
Men
Mike
will
said
actually
that,
bow
his-
forward
when Mike-
at the waist. Women will actually kind of squat down.
Well,
It's a different way of.
when Mike did that, his body language said, "Let me fellatio you." It was like,
Is that like if I were to say it, we'll take it deep together?
no, stop trying to sexualize my saying. No. So,
You started it.
speaking of sexualization, the Cuomo-sexuals are sad because he's been completely busted. But that's a whole nother show. Anyway, the vaccine, I think forcing people isn't going to have the desired result. I understand why people want to do it because they want things to stay normal. They don't want to go back to what they were before, and I don't think they are. But here's the rotten truth. I feel that although I was happy for the restrictions to get lifted when they did it just a tad too early because people were going to lose their shit. I really feel if we waited about another month and a half, the outcome might have been a little bit better. But people were losing their shit, businesses were suffering, and the government just completely fucked up their overall response. And this includes both parties, both presidents. So we could debate that another time. But for people to have to get evicted because they couldn't work and things of that nature, and they just after the moratorium lifts, and then they're like, "We got a plan now," is complete BS because they were the lobbyists were making them hold out because the bankers are very powerful. So, but you just can't. If you force people into that corner, yeah, I think you'll get more people to get vaccinated. But I really think the way it's playing out now, people are going to look at stuff. People are getting COVID, and I don't wish this on them. I really don't want friends of mine I know to get it and suffer hard consequences. I hope if they do get it, it's an easy time for them. But if you look at the percentages, people are ending up in a hospital. Most of them don't have a vaccine at all. The people want to debate that. Okay, sure, let's debate that. I'm too tired to debate that kind of shit right now. If you want to be a non-believer, we reap what we sow, though. So you do have to live with your own choice. But I do not feel like we should back people in the corner like a hungry dog. I mean, do you guys think that's going to make people more adopt it more or just conform, or you think it's going to make them dig in?
That's hard to say. Hard to say, but
I don't think the hardcore people are going to do shit.
No, I'm gonna go with.
Well, when you say don't do shit, I'm not saying there's going to be a mass revolution. I'm just saying, I have friends that are.
I have a feeling they're going to, like you said, dig in. Definitely a lot more.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to go that way.
Here's the other thing people don't want to talk about too. There are shitbags that I know and other people know that say they're vaccinated and go out and don't wear a mask on purpose. They say, "Oh, I had it."
Well, nobody right now that is going out. No, I shouldn't say nobody. Most people that are going out that are unvaccinated, going into areas that say it's up to you to wear a mask if you're not vaccinated, they're not going to wear a mask because they don't want to.
Right. No one wants to.
That's what they've been waiting for.
No one wants to wear a mask, though. I mean, but I go to the train 3 or 4 times, use the train 3 or 4 times a week, and on the train, you still have to wear a mask just like the train. I'm sorry. And we'll be talking about the plane soon and more duct tape. That will be fun. The thing about that is that people on the train do it. And there's a socio-economic piece to this. Poorer parts of the country, certain segments of the country, populations, ethnicities are rejecting it at a higher clip. And you can do it by getting on, you can see the difference in Philadelphia by getting on certain types of public transportation. If you get on the L, you'll see half of the people don't have a mask on. If you get on the regional rail, everybody has the mask on. Now, it's more mandated, and the train conductors aren't fucking with you. Like, you will get the mask on. So, but no one fights it. They get it done. I don't like it. I hate it. I mean, look at this beard. Do I want to cover this up? Please.
I wish you would sometimes.
Please. That's, how dare you. So, I think at the end of the day, that's not the route to go. However, what you guys do have to keep in mind, if you do want to take that stance because you say, oh, it hasn't been fully researched, that's fine. But don't rip a Newport after you said that, because I'm going to roundhouse you if I see it and that comes out of your mouth. I'm sorry. Oh, I can't take the vaccine. You're full of shit. But, I mean, it's true. I've seen it several times. I've had conversations. You know, I don't want restrictions to go up because I don't want it to get ugly. Laura's right. And I just think, you know, I'm going to take the tact of encouraging people to do it and try not to talk down to them or talk to them like they're stupid. Hear them out, you know, and I think we're going to be better with that. That seems like the more tedious task, but I think in the long run it won't be. So that's all I'd say about that. I don't think the government should be doing stuff like that, specifically in New York City. I'm not surprised New York City's doing it, but it is not something that I think is going to work. It's not, and here's the thing that we have to get over too. A lot of people will have you believe, well, it's just the people that are Republicans that aren't vaccinated. That's not true. It's a mixed crowd. You don't want to believe me? Look up the stats. It's a mixed crowd. That's the news perpetuating that. So then it becomes one side versus this. Then the right's like, I'm not going to take it. And my friends on the right, don't you fucking bullshit me. You're not taking it, half of you, because it's a fucking right versus left thing for you. Go fuck yourself. I'm not going to feed into your bullshit. People on the left, you know, they're on it. But I know people on the left that didn't want to do it. I know people on the right that did want it, and they took the vaccine. So, you know, everybody's a disease expert. I'm going to be that guy online. And, no, everybody's an infectious disease expert now, you know. But whatever. So here's the thing. We're going to talk about duct tape next. You know, this guy needed to be forced. And, yeah, Laura, so it's funny. I'll move on that. The women I spoke to, even my niece who's nowhere near pregnancy age, well, she is, but she's not. If she had a kid that in 17, someone's getting a knuckle sandwich. But anyway, that being said, her father had that concern, and it's been disproven many times through a lot of studies, and people at University of Alabama, Birmingham did a study, and it's just something that people are fear-mongering again. So I understand that worry of it, but there's not enough data saying that, and there's a lot of other things that if you really dig deep, that could affect birth, like alcohol. Sometimes that will depend on how much you drink, especially if the kid's in there, you know. So, cigarettes.
Who's drinking while they're pregnant?
Oh, you ever heard of fetal alcohol syndrome, my friend?
Of shit.
Yeah. Smoking cigarettes while you're pregnant. I know people that did. Long story. I'm not even going to go into that. But or certain foods you eat that have certain chemicals in it. But to me, I don't think beating people down is going to work. So, but beating people down works when they flip out on a plane and you have duct tape. That works. So, Mike, if you're going to bring that up, show him I sent you that article. So we have our mush of the week is this gentleman. He probably has a girlfriend, too. You know, no, that's not him. That's George Dopapopoulos.
Bizarre scene on a Frontier Airlines flight, where flight attendants strapped an unruly passenger to a seat with duct tape after he groped two of the attendants, assaulted a third. Will Reeve has the story. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, George. What a wild situation. The man had allegedly been drinking. The video of the incident is quite shocking. At one point, there's a thrashing physical confrontation. The largest flight attendants union in the country is now speaking out against Frontier Airlines and how it handled the aftermath of this, just the latest incident in the sky.
This morning, fallout growing from this disturbing flight fight, ending in a passenger being wrapped in tape. 22-year-old Maxwell Berry now facing charges, accused of unruly behavior on a Frontier Airlines flight from Philadelphia to Miami Saturday.
You guys suck!
Police say Berry had been drinking and groped 2 female flight attendants and assaulted a male flight attendant. Berry seen here swinging at the man, trying to restrain him.
He started raising his voice and cursing, and then I realized that he was drunk.
The flight attendants trying to get him under control, duct taping him to a seat. The passenger who shot this
You
video
hear people laughing
saying
in the background
crew
at
did
him?
the best they could in the situation.
They were very professional, in my opinion. They had to restrain him because he was a danger for other passengers or himself.
Berry, arrested upon landing, now faces 3 counts of battery. But the airline under fire this morning for its handling of the crew members involved, saying in an initial statement the flight attendants had been suspended pending further investigation, claiming proper policies for restraining passengers had not been followed. Amid backlash from the union representing flight attendants, the airline revising its language to claim the employees are on paid leave. This caught-on-camera fiasco is just another in a spate of incidents with unruly passengers this year. In its new weekly report, the FAA counted more than 3,700 such incidents.
So, this guy's a mush. He was going to Miami. He thought he was going to party it up. He wanted to show he had big balls. First off, I think the flight attendant should have had more fun. I would have tried to pull off some wrestling moves and did like a flying elbow. Like just really whoop his ass. I mean, you know, why don't they have restrictive seating? Well, maybe they should. I mean, I hopefully it doesn't get that way. It's going to be like Veteran Stadium in the 90s where there's a goddamn courthouse in there. I don't know if you have air marshals on domestic flights. I think it's more international. I could be wrong there. Totally guessing.
There's a few on domestic flights.
So it's mostly international?
Mostly international, very few on domestics.
So if you guys didn't notice or not, Jamie is an air marshal. So if you see him on a plane, he's watching you.
You weren't supposed to tell.
Oh, my bad.
Dude.
Well, that's okay. It's too late if he saw you. He's going to tase you. But when you watch that, you're like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with people? And we've talked about this many times, but, I mean, he's screaming like a maniac. He's getting duct taped. And by the way, a lot of people get gaslighted out there, and they tell you that unions aren't worth a shit. Looks like they did something for the employee right there because Frontier tried to shit on the employee first in typical management style, and that wasn't the case. So, what are you supposed to do? You're in the air. The guy's acting like an asshole. This seems to be something that's becoming, it's happening often. Like, what is wrong with people? And this guy loses it. Why did he even lose his shit? I mean, what circumstance makes it pertinent for you to act that way?
I would like to know if he was already drunk before he got there, or if the airport itself fed him all that alcohol.
I mean, are they supposed to give him a fucking breathalyzer when he wants a Bud Light?
No, but you're supposed to flag somebody at a certain point. I would think that if you're to the point of on a plane groping others and picking fights, you probably had one too many.
He's a grown-ass man. He just shouldn't be fucking acting like that.
I thought he was 22. Is that a grown-ass man?
It's good, grown enough, no, not to get a federale on the air.
All right.
I mean,
all right.
I mean, I know 15-year-olds that wouldn't do shit like that.
You know 15-year-olds?
Yeah, they like apple juice.
Oh, we get out of here.
Yeah, well,
I'm just gonna merge myself away from this.
I'm not DJ Rubin, all right?
Oh!
Like he's listening.
You don't know. He might be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, buddy, if you are. The truth hurts. All right. So let's move on. So the largest U.S. flight attendant union calls for criminal penalties for unruly passengers. Doesn't need to be criminal. It already is. So Mike's crying in a corner. Frontier Airlines. I hear him like laughing on the mic, I hear like. Is he okay back there, Jamie?
Oh, he's fine.
Massage his shoulders for me. You can't massage.
My shoulders are in my pants.
Oh my God! So Frontier Airlines maintains the utmost value, respect, concern, and support for all of our flight attendants. Sure you do. So it was a weekend flight. Was he drunk? I don't know. What happened in the cabin? The passenger had 2 drinks, spilled a third on himself, was wandering the cabin shirtless, and groped the breast of 2 female flight attendants. Sounds like he thought he was at Delilah's. So, according to a report by Miami-Dade Police Department, the police report identified him as Maxwell Wilkinson Berry of Norwalk, Ohio. Phone calls to numbers listed for Berry were not answered on Tuesday, so he didn't want to comment on it. He should have had some phone. See, what happened is I took some purple Urkel, and I lost my shit. So, you guys fucking suck, Berry is heard shouting in a video clip recorded by passenger Alfredo Rivera. It's a nice gentleman with the headset on. My parents are worth more than $2 million goddamn dollars. Sounds like a trust fund, baby. Flying on the Frontier Airlines, he must have been lost. Flight attendants helped him find a shirt after he spilled the drink. According to the police report, a third flight attendant asked him several times to calm down and remain seated. The passenger punched him in the face with a closed fist. So, I don't care if I'm at a job and you try to throw hands, you're getting your ass whooped. There's definitely somebody's getting ass whooped.
Oh,
yeah. So, flight attendant and passengers restrained in purple Urkel. So, yeah. I mean, come on. If you look at the guy is sitting next to a flight attendant and he's got at least, I got to say, about 3/4 of a roll of duct tape around him. Who said duct tape can't do anything? I mean, it can restrain people. It can fix your car. It could hold your engine in if you're in the Pine Barrens.
That didn't look like duct tape either.
It definitely was packing tape.
No. If you go down further in the story, that's duct tape. It looks like duct tape to me, but I could be wrong.
No, because it was clear.
I've never seen a clear duct tape.
Yeah, it was packing tape.
So they had packet tape on him first, but if you look at that, is that clear too? Maybe it is clear. So, all right, so he's even bigger of a wuss because he got restrained by packing tape. So I hope you're proud of yourself. Your mush of the week. Take it deep. So next up on the docket is a picture of Mike from when he was 18. No, I'm just joking. We're going to do the M&M lookalike contest later.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to get Stephanie to get me that picture.
I don't understand what's happening.
You know what's happening.
It's going down. We're taking our pants off?
No, we're not taking our pants off.
Okay.
I know you need to relax yourself immediately. So one thing else I wanted to talk about is some more gaslighting and a little change of topics here. And I don't know if anybody's interested in this, but, you know, I've done Uber as a job or a part-time job and Lyft. And I wanted to talk about this because, you know, you hear about people have all kinds of takes on issues and they get their information from certain places. And, you know, companies have enough money where they can literally produce propaganda to either be against the union or, you know, an oil company will say, do a commercial as this is jobs for America, but it's really not. It's so their greedy asses can get a pipeline. And, you know, it's very subversive in the way it's presented. And it made me start thinking about how there's a bill coming up in Massachusetts about rideshare drivers. You know, over in Europe, you know, if you're a rideshare driver, you're going to get paid an hourly wage because they're not playing that bullshit over there. And in London too. Because they want to classify you as an independent contractor. And as an independent contractor, you provide them services and you're not adherent to their rules. So that's what an independent contractor is, right? You could decide not to contract them anymore, but they don't have to go by your company rules. And if they don't, and it doesn't work out, you can terminate your contract with them. Now, Uber and Lyft argue that they're independent contractors because they could pick their own schedule, which is a bullshit workaround. The reason why I think it's bullshit is because, you know, this is an example of gaining wealth by exploitation. They put some cab companies out of business, and while I'm not crying any tears for the cab companies, when you look at it, and I have experienced that job, and I've done the delivery side of rideshare, the passenger side of rideshare is exponentially more expensive. Ask yourself this. These companies are transportation companies, but they don't pay for gas, vehicles, or maintenance. How are you a transportation company? You don't do any of those three things. They don't pay for gas, vehicle, or maintenance. That's passed down to the driver. So you got to work a lot of hours. Now, sometimes they'll give you a bonus as a driver when you go through the week if you hit a certain number of rides. But they do it like a fucking casino. How do I mean? They'll do something like where, okay, you'll get a $200 bonus if you hit 30 rides, but if you hit 50 rides, you'll get $200. Now, or $280. Now let's say you did 28 rides and you were too short. The nice thing would be the prorated. You get bupkis because you could have picked a lower option where you get a lower bonus. It's almost like playing a carnival game, literally. So let's say there's a bonus level where you do 20 rides and 10 rides, you get 50 and 150, if you hit anywhere. Then if you go up to 20, 30, you get the higher amount. But if you pick the higher bonus, you don't get the fall to the lower amount. You're just fucked. See what I'm saying? So they're able to change the profit structure on these guys any time. This company it's not a profitable company. They have a lot of investor cash. And their strategy was, hey, let's have self-driving cars. I always said it wouldn't work, and it didn't work. Show me a software that can navigate a really narrow South Philly street. I'll buy into that software. You know what it's going to do? It's not going to go down the street or it's going to hit like 10 cars. And guess what? Didn't work. Knew it wouldn't work. No way. You're going to have so many liabilities. It's going to be crazy. Hasn't been perfected yet. Do I think it will come? Yes. So the point of me bringing this up is they have spent millions to gaslight the actual drivers themselves. This is how bad people get gaslighted. When 90% of these drivers quit and they're part-time, they don't ever do it again. 10% of these drivers are people that are foreign immigrants and they need work. They're being exploited because they need work. They got to send it back home to their families, etc. And then there are people that aren't. I have friends that aren't foreign. It doesn't matter if they're foreign or not. The point is the exploitation is so real that they're passing all their costs, a majority of it, down to the person getting them the business. And they get gaslighted so hard, they convince these same drivers to vote against their own interest in California for an hourly wage. I've done the math. If you have an hourly wage plus tips, when you do get them, you'll end up making more and you won't end up owing a giant tax bill at the end of the year after your write-offs, because that's what happens now. So this company, Uber and Lyft, they got these guys to vote against their own interest in California on the ballot, and therefore they won't get an hourly wage because they were led to believe and lied to that you won't have your own schedule, which is not true. You'll get paid less, which wasn't true. And Uber's prices will go up, which isn't true, because there's examples in Europe that hasn't happened. And guess what? If these guys said, hey, you know what? Fuck you. We're not driving until this works. It would work. They'd be fucked. They're not getting in the car from Cupertino or San Francisco and driving. They can't. They don't want that smoke. They don't know how to do it. Now, delivery is a different situation. That's been around, like your Grubhubs, your Caviar, and all that, because this is why it's more expensive for a rider. One, for someone who drives people around, your car can only be so old, okay? The assurance is different. You spend more gas because of how far you go, okay? The wear and tear on your car is more, where if you're a delivery driver, you usually have about a 15-minute radius from where you're at, so you won't go as far, okay? You get tipped more as a delivery driver, believe it or not, than an Uber driver. I know that for a fact because I've done it. You do pick you don't really get to pick your schedule as a delivery driver. You can, but you're going when people are eating. You can deliver in the morning as it expands. I'm involved in that business. And, that is exponentially less because you can also drive like a 1995 sled hoopty that passes inspection and you're not going to have to pay for it. Some of these guys are in car loans where you got to pay $250 a week for it, and it includes your maintenance and insurance and everything. But until you've driven enough to pay for that, you haven't made shit. Some of these guys are living there. So sounds like a shitty job, right? So they gaslight people so hard and pay so much money and make so many commercials and radio ads and all this stuff that people will buy into this bullshit and vote against their own interests. So that's how powerful the money is. I mean, something like, and I've experienced it. I've seen it. It's like being a rat in a maze. It really is. I remember one time I drove. They won't let you drive 12 hours straight, but I worked 8 hours and then I drove 12, 20-hour day. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. I needed money, whatever. I was paying off debt, but it's definitely you're chasing a big piece of cheese. So I'm looking it up right now, and when you see people go through this, there's people who are living in their cars. There are people that, and they don't care about you either. These rideshare companies like Lyft or Uber, because you hear about their green light centers where people go to sign up. They wouldn't even let them use their bathrooms. They're making them money. Their job doesn't even exist unless they're on the road. And that's how they treat them. I've experienced it. So here's the thing. Being managed by an algorithm, you do not want that. I've experienced it. It is worse than any human being can ever be. There's no response. They could cut you off like that. Customer complaint, that's a false complaint. Boom, you're gone. If you don't want to take certain jobs because it's not going to it doesn't make sense, like literal sense, you're gone eventually. So if you're an independent contractor, how's that possible? And that's the question they're posing. Can they be classified as an independent contractor? I don't know if any of you have been an independent contractor, but Jamie, does that sound like an independent contractor to you?
It does.
It does?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. But if you're an independent contractor, do you have to do what the employee says? Meaning, they're contracting you for their services. So, are you adhere to their company rules?
I would say that would actually depend on the company.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were some companies that would have something in a contract that says, we have these rules, you have to follow them.
So, what do you think the benefit is of an independent contractor for a company to do that? What's their financial benefit?
Again, that's hard to say, and again, it's based on the company you're contracting with.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of variables to throw this stuff in there, and it's just not easy to sit there and pick it apart.
So, I'm going to go by the IRS definition. People such as doctors, dentists, veterinarians, lawyers, accountants, contractors, subcontractors, public stenographers, or auctioneers who are in independent trade, business, or profession in which they offer their services to the general public are generally independent contractors. However, these people are independent contractors or employees, depends on the facts in each case. The general rule is that an individual is an independent contractor if the payer has the right to control or direct only the result of the work and not what will be done and how it will be done. Sounds like that's not the case. And the reason why they're doing the independent contractor is because they don't want to pay them benefits. They paid their CEO last year at Uber made $45 million. $45 million last year. But they don't want to pay these guys benefits, and they're making money literally on their back. They're literally their modern day rickshaw driver. And to me, I've done this job. I know this job. I've experienced the stress. I've experienced the financial stress, and I did it in a smart way where I wasn't entangled in a car payment. But some of these guys don't have enough credit to do it. I've sold these guys cars in a previous job. I know what goes into it. But it's so powerful, the money, that they convince these guys that it's better for them to have that than the alternative of being classified as an employee. They're absolutely, in my opinion, and we'll see what the court says, they're absolutely employees. Absolutely. They're just, the reason why you do a 1099, and this company should be ashamed of themselves, is because they want to exploit. It's called exploitation. They're getting rich off these guys. It's ridiculous. They could pay more. They just don't want to. And the whole business model and this is what's wrong about Uber and Lyft, more so Uber than Lyft, but really both, is that their business model isn't really to make profit. Their business model is to exploit to make profit, and a monopoly model. What do I mean by that? I hope I'm not boring you guys with this, but what I mean by that is that when they put everybody out of business in the transportation space, guess what happens? They're now a monopoly. That's not supposed to happen in the United States. So they're putting people out of jobs. They're no more efficient than cabs. The only thing they do is create an app. And there are cab companies out there without apps. It's just they're a little bit too late to the game. So they're not really innovators. They're just moving people from place to place. That's really not innovative to me. an app is an app. I mean, are we impressed by apps still these days like we used to be like 15 years ago? If an app comes out, does that impress
Depends
anybody?
if it's like Grindr or something.
Okay, well, Mike he's got the ball sack on his mind. But so if you're not a non-sexual dating app, does it impress you?
No, not nowadays.
No, when
apps absolutely still impress me. I mean, hell, you've got apps like Snapchat and why'd I hit that button? Why'd I hit that button? You got apps like Snapchat.
Okay, here we go again.
and like Instagram and Facebook that have these abilities to do deep fakes and what is it called when you put like a thing over top of
you
your
got
face?
the
Filter.
toxic. You got the Toxic Radio app.
You got the Toxic Radio app. Exactly.
Waiting for that to be impressive.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
I'll put some filters on it. But no,
I'm still waiting for mine to work.
Apps are definitely still
Oh, do you have an
impressive.
Android phone?
I do.
Oh, wow. I've experienced the same thing. Thank you, Jamie. That's what I do when I use my
But
Toxic
no,
app.
I still do find apps impressive. So to say that is just.
I don't,
senile.
not as much before. It was like, wow, you could put an app on a phone. I remember when it first happened. I worked for AT&T when.
I mean, I've got the Xbox X Cloud app that lets me play Xbox on my phone. Of course, I'm still impressed by apps.
Well, if you're impressed by Grindr, I mean, I don't know what else to say. That's important. Mike likes Grindr. Even Toxic has an app. I know. That's what I was saying, Brad. Good point. Even though you're a chip hoarder. No, I'm just no. Still can't believe my girlfriend gave me $40 in chips. What the fuck?
She eats bugs with me.
She didn't. No, she didn't.
She
paid you to eat bugs. She wouldn't eat bugs.
Yeah.
She threw up in the parking lot after she got out of that.
Well, that's because you tried to kiss her.
No, not true. I told her that you eat ass after eating bugs like that, and I told her about the larva coming up the next week. So she threw up.
What the hell just happened there?
What did you do? Did the internet just go out?
No, we're still fine.
Because it's an internet connection restored.
And maybe it knows it's time for the show to end.
No, fuck you. Conor McGregor says, "Wash your hands, eat your greens, get loaded and jacked." That's his answer for COVID. Isn't that nice?
I think it's nice.
Yeah. So, does anybody in here take Uber?
I take it as much as I need it.
No.
If I need to go somewhere and I know I'm going to be getting ship-based.
I do sometimes, and it provides a valuable service. But my point is,
absolutely.
My point is,
if you remember if I remember the days of ordering a taxi, and you have to wait like 2 hours, 3 hours, and if they're really booked up, you've got to like pre-schedule it.
Yeah. So it definitely did interrupt that industry in a sense, and that I will give them credit for. But I'll just give you an example. Last year, Uber and Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart succeeded in getting Californians to vote in favor of a ballot measure exempting them from classifying drivers and delivery workers as employees. Now the companies are in the early stages of taking a similar approach in Massachusetts. The coalition representing the gig companies, Massachusetts Coalition for Independent Work, said it filled Wednesday to have a question put on the state's 2022 ballot would grant historic new benefits that allow workers to maintain their flexibility as independent contractors, something say most drivers want. They say that. Without a ballot measure or legislative solution, the future of the app-based rideshare delivery could be in jeopardy. The coalition said in language reminiscent of how dire the issue was positioned in California. But when the benefit of seeing how things played out in California, the opposition is on its front foot this time against the playbook it believes was used last time. The Coalition to Protect Workers' Rights, an alliance that includes local labor advocates and community groups, argued that this week in Massachusetts, the measure would permanently create a second-class status for the workers, the majority of whom are black and brown immigrants. Classifying on-demand workers as employees has long been viewed as a potential existing threat to the business model popularized by Uber and Lyft. The business model of exploitation. Okay? And this is how things have changed from like 1900 to now. You can fashion words to sound what they are, like the Alliance for Workers. What fucking Alliance for Workers are you? like the right to work. It's not. Get the fuck out of here. Wait, have you ever heard of the right to work law in the state? Like, it's not the right to work. It's an oxymoron. It's the right to fire you for whatever the fuck they want to. They named the law right to work to affect unions, meaning you don't have to be unionized if you're in a certain, shop and you have the right to work and not be in the union. Okay, sure. So, but anyway, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'll end on this. The companies have also shown they're prepared to go to great lengths to get themselves a more favorable law. When faced with a new labor law in California, Assembly Bill 5, that made it much harder for companies to classify workers as independent contractors in the state, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart spent a combined $225 million on a ballot measure known as Proposition 22 or Prop 22. You have $225 million to spend on preventing a fucking bill, but you can't have a payable wage to these people and get them some benefits. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? And people are on board with that? Am I crazy, guys?
Do you really want us to answer that?
Well, as concerns to this.
I was going to say the answer would have been yes.
Yeah, so here, I'll give you the stat, and then we'll move on. And Brad, yes, football is on tonight, but it's preseason, so let's be real here. I mean, who's going to play? Half the players are out with COVID. I will be watching, though. By the way, COVID is ripping through baseball right now. So basically, this is what it's going to do. Similar to Prop 22, the proposed Massachusetts ballot initiative presents a minimum earnings guarantee of 120% of minimum wage based on engaged time, meaning the only time counted is when a driver is fulfilling a ride or delivery request, but not the time they spend waiting for a gig. An analysis from UC Berkeley Labor Center had estimated that the pay guarantee under Prop 22 for Uber Lyft drivers would be the equivalent to a wage of $5.64 an hour instead of $15.60 or 120% of the $13 minimum wage given such loopholes. So they're pushing for that loophole. I mean, these guys aren't making a lot of money. So, and I'm sorry, Mike, but if you don't tip these guys, you're a piece of shit. Society doesn't say you have to.
To the pieces of shit.
Yep. Captain Dookie.
Captain Dookie.
So workers would receive $26 reimbursement per engaged mile to cover the vehicle and upkeep. That's a lot. So they pointed out that Prop 22's 30-cent reimbursement is lower than IRS's estimated 58 cents per mile cost of owning and operating a vehicle. So crazy. So this is something where I want you guys to be aware of the money, and I want you guys to be aware of, how people try to trick you. Like, I mean, Jamie, I'm going to ask you because you seem to be intently listening to this. Mike's playing with his dick looking at Grindr over there. Do you think that's a good job for someone? Or do you think, where it's, remember, they're not paying taxes.
No, it's not a good job.
They will pay taxes. They're not, but they got to pay it later on.
They'll pay it later on, and the back end. But as far as a good job, no, because I did Uber years ago when they first got started.
And you were paid more then too, probably.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Oh, really?
And when I found out what I was getting paid compared to what the riders were paying,
yeah,
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is not worth it for me.
Exactly. It should be, and I saw that too, and it should be an 80-20 split. I think 80% driver, 20% for the company. That simple. You're putting out all the expense.
Exactly, and it was the other way around.
It absolutely was. And they move it arbitrarily at any time they can and it increases their profits like that if they have a fall. So they can just cut your pay like that and you have no idea.
Right, and they used to tell you that certain times of the day they would pay you more. If you drove later into the evening, they'd pay you more. You do weekends and holidays.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a load of crap then.
It's like working for a carnival game, pretty much. So with that, folks, we took that deep. I hope you're into it deep. And we are deep, and you can listen to Taking It Deep on Amazon Music, the Toxic Radio app, unless you have Android. Just kidding, Mike. But, you could possibly. Go to your computer then, or your web browser. Does anybody use a web browser on their phone, Mike?
I use Netscape.
Okay. Wow.
They still have that?
Yeah. You're going to get sued by Bill Gates. And you can listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Google Taking It Deep, and that's that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for calling in. Nobody called in because you're shitbags. But anyway, thanks for listening. And this is the Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.